Hi, welcome back to my Space Age playthrough. I've started adding some rails to my Vulcanus build. Um, you can already see it's taken down the bot traffic a lot. So I got a station here that takes tungsten. It's got this belt that snakes through all the lava patches to get up here to this tungsten patch. And that's a loading station. Then I've got unloading stations here for the plates, and up here for the tungsten carbide. We've also got a calcite station set up. I've got the rails kind of all over the map. Got a refueling station down here. I'm not able to get into this tungsten patch down here yet, because it's completely hemmed in by lava on this side. So I'm going to need to start taking out these demolishers over here so that I can get this out and onto a station. That's going to be my first interaction with medium demolishers. I've got a fair number of turrets here all spaced out, so I hope that's enough. I feel like it should be. It's more than I've been using for the small ones. Alright, I'm stupid. I shouldn't have done that. What's he doing? What's he doing? Why'd he turn around like that? Oh. What's he up to? I hope he still hits my turrets, not my base. There we go. Let's see how that goes. Oh. Oh boy. That was something. I lost, what, 43 turrets? Man. I think, yeah, I still had plenty. That scared me, though, when he looped around. I thought he was just going to come straight into my base and just start wrecking everything. Alright, let's go down there and see if I can see if any of my gear is still left. Okay, I got my power armor back. Cool, that was the main thing I was worried about. Losing my power armor. Everything else is mostly expendable, but yeah. Well, that's a medium demolisher. I had plenty of firepower. I just decided to do something dumb and attack him. Alright, I've done some more work on Vulcanus. I've got a lot more train stations built out. I've got these stations here that pull molten copper, in this case, out of lava and puts that into a station. It also provides a stone station. And any excess stone like this gets filtered out into the lava to keep the metal flowing. I've got an iron version as well. Pretty much works the same. I've got 3 of each of these, 3 iron and 3 copper stations set up around the map. Then I've got these stations that take the molten iron and copper and produce green circuits out of it. This produces, I think it's set up to produce one full green belt of green circuits. I've got two of these stations. They're both backed up right now, but they were running at full throttle for a while. Then I've got this red circuit station that takes the green circuits, molten copper, and plastic, produces the copper cable with foundries, then produces pretty much one yellow belt of red circuits. That's all I wanted to build machines for at the moment. It's been sufficient so far. For plastic, I started out with this design here. This uses basic liquefaction to produce heavy oil, and then cracks it all the way down to petroleum, and then produce one yellow belt of plastic. But I've actually decommissioned this one. I've got the stations turned off. I'm going to be deleting it. Instead, I designed this one over here. This uses coal liquefaction to turn coal into all three kinds of oil, and then cracks everything else down to petroleum. This is producing one red belt of plastic, so it's twice the production as the other one for roughly the same number of machines. I've got a little concrete factory up here. Just takes calcite, coal, stone, and iron. Makes the copper bricks, the water, and turns it into concrete. This can produce quite a bit of concrete. It's all backed up now, but you can see I've done a lot of paving with concrete in this base. And my other big new station is this one. Just takes the two different types of circuits and makes the processing units pretty much the same as it would be on Navis. And I don't use a train for these, just put them in provider chests because it's right here close to the rocket silos, which is the main thing I use it for. I've still got the rocket fuel and the low density structures set up here in the old base. Not on trains yet. Hasn't really been a problem yet, but at some point I'll probably need to upgrade everything, make dedicated stations for it. I zoom out here, you can see that I've taken a lot more territory. I believe I've killed all the medium demolishers, so everything that's left is just a big demolisher, which I think is the highest. So I've put roboports in most of the territory as well. Then I've paved all the central part. I've got rails in a lot of it also. So it should be set up pretty well to expand. This is my Navi space. It hasn't changed a whole lot, I don't think. It needs a research overhaul to produce much higher science per minute than it does currently. That's going to be a pretty big upgrade that I'll have to do here at some point. But right now I'm mostly focused on exploring the other planets. I've got this tiny little nuclear plant I built. It's not the most efficient because it doesn't have the neighbor bonus, but I think it's cute, so I'm keeping it. And I've got a much bigger nuclear plant down here. 4 reactors. this has been pretty well sufficient for my needs. You can see even at night it doesn't need to use the accumulators at all. And I've still got the steam engines running. I'll keep running those until the coal patches they use run out of coal. And then I'll just decommission those and go fully on to nuclear. I built these upgraded smelter stations. So this one is iron. It takes a yellow belt of calcite. It actually only needs about 1/3 of a yellow belt. And it takes 2 green belts of iron ore. And then it uses the foundries to produce 4 green belts of iron plates. I've also got the station down here for molten iron. I'm going to be transitioning my base to use molten iron in trains instead of the plates. But that's going to be a gradual transition since all of my existing stations take the plates. But my new ones that I build from here on out will take molten, and then I'll just gradually convert everything over and then decommission the plate station here. And I've got the same blueprint for copper. Right here. Also provides both the plates and the molten copper. Alright, so at this point, I think I've pretty much conquered Fulgora. Got a good train network base set up so that I can expand it as needed. I don't think I should need to be here personally anymore. So what I'm going to do instead is take a rocket out to Fulgora. So long, Vulcanus. Alright, my Millennium Falcon here. I've already got a ton of supplies set up for a Fulgora mission. So we're going to go ahead and take off. Hey, we're here on Fulgora. Let's drop down to it. Oh, nice. Landed right next to one of these lightning rods. Okay, I'm on a little island. Oh, is this? Yeah, this is lucky. This is a vault right here. Last time I had to search all over the place to find one of these. I'm pretty sure this is a trigger technology. Yeah, I got recycling. The recycling plants, I guess. Okay, first things first, we're gonna drop our cargo landing pad. Here we go. Now we need to search for a suitable place to live. There's another vault over here. I don't know why it took me so long to find one last time. Well, this is a decent-sized island. It's got some scrap on it as well, I think. Or does it? Is any of this... Yeah, it's got a bit of scrap down there. Drop the cargo bays first. Okay, now that I got a couple of these, I think I should have enough space. Made a bit of progress. Got a bunch of accumulators set up. Got roboports all over the island. Got the scrap mining working. Got a red belt of scrap coming back up to the base. I've explored a bit more. So there's several islands around here that are decent size to build more stuff on later. And I've got over here 8.2 million scrap, 16 million scrap, and 63 million scrap. So that should keep me going for quite a while. I've made this scrap recycler design. It takes one red belt of scrap, recycles it here, and then it has filter inserters that sort the various things you can get out of scrap into chests. Once a chest gets full, any of that material will just keep going on the belt, and then it'll come up here and get recycled down farther, which will be either into the component parts, or it'll just disappear eventually if it keeps going through. Before it goes into any of these sorters, there's this filter splitter here that takes the holmium ore and puts it in its own special chest. And so if the holmium ore backs up, then it stops this whole thing and it stops processing scrap. Because for me, holmium ore tends to be the big bottleneck in production. At least that's what I experienced in my last playthrough. Alright, so from here, next steps will be to start doing some holmium processing, get the electromagnetic machines and the science set up, and then start shipping that back to Navis so I can do some of the research from Fulgora. I'll also need to start creating train tracks and things so that I can get out to these other islands, bring the scrap back into here. So I think I'll call it here for this episode. Thanks for watching.